Hey, listen up. We got another episode of Wise Kracks, featuring the crack man himself, Bill Krakenberger, and our co-host, Jon Orlando, straight from Las Vegas. Wise Kracks is your ticket inside the world of sports betting, with tips, picks, special guests, and more. Only on WSN.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jon Orlando, and this is Wise Kracks, and we've got a special show for you today. We've got lots of great guests, multiple guests, and of course, no Wise Kracks show would be complete without the man himself, who's been crushing the books this past couple of weeks, Bill Krakenberger, our wonderful host. What's going on, Bill?
Hey, man. All going good, and having a good season. Thanks. Appreciate you saying that. Listen, it's all about the long run, and it's all about the end game. Yeah, we had some great weeks in the NFL. And actually, the whole season's been good. So we're getting a grasp on some other things now. We got some big things starting up. Can't wait for college basketball in a few weeks. And good stuff, John.
Let me ask you this, Crack. Last week in the NFL, it was a little crazy. And was this even crazier? I mean, the totals are off the charts. There's been some insane endings, teams blowing leads. What is going on with some of these finishes?
It's just so crazy. It goes back to what I said about the no preseason. It's like we're still having a preseason halfway in this season. But anyway, you said it. It's just crazy. The totals, there's nothing like this that we've ever seen before. Almost no real home field advantage for anybody without the crowds. Everything's up for grabs. Every game, every play. It's really all about offense now. So the upside is you can make a lot of money on these games if you're betting smart.
This has been kind of a crazy year, obviously, with everything going on with COVID and all that. And it's been, the plus for me has been, it's been really exciting. At one point, we had all the sports going at the same time, which has never happened before, right? We had NBA, we had MLB, we had NFL, we had soccer, UFC, everything going on. And now we've got basketballs looking to start back up in December. This is kind of a crazy time to be a sports fan, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, there is so much of I use this word a lot, plethora. There's a plethora of sports here at your fingertips. So looking forward to it. And you know why, too? People don't realize this. When it's cross sports, when you have all these different lines the bookmaker has to put up for all the college football, the pro football, now you have a cross sports where you're into some basketball. It's not easy for a bookmaker to put up 150 lines on a Saturday. They have to be wrong, and that's where I look to exploit some of those numbers.
Well, that's why we're all here, Bill. I mean, that's definitely why I'm here, is we want to learn from the man. We want to learn from you. You're like the Mr. Miyagi Jedi Master for sports betting tips coming at us today.
I get a lot of good information. I'm kind of humble about it, but I have to tell you, my guys come up with the best. I mean, here it is. I'm not going to say the best. Listen, there's other sharp sports betting syndicates and people out there, and there's some better than me, maybe. Great, fantastic. I just know that I get the best of the line. When I bet something, over 54, it's going to go to 56, 90% of the time. And I know in the end that equals a lot of money for me, closing line value. And I know it's going to, I know what happens. We've never had a losing quarter, which means we never had a losing year. So stick with it. And, you're going to show a profit.
Well, we're going to have a great show today. We're going to cover current events as we always do. And obviously we're going to go over my picks for this week. And we're going to answer, I think, maybe just one Twitter question. We got such a jam-packed show today. I don't know how much we're going to squeeze this all in. So let's just get right into it with current events. Last week, the Giants and the Bucs had kind of a crazy game. What went on there, Crack?
That goes to show you too. It's a primetime game. Playing in New York, and you have one of the fan favorite teams. Everyone loves to bet the Bucs. The public just keeps on betting on them. And sure enough, this game goes to 13 at a lot of the sports books in New Jersey and here in Vegas. At one time or another, you could get 13 almost everywhere. So look what happened in the end. It just goes to show you, any given Sunday, anything can happen. The Giants almost won the game. It came down to a 2-point conversion, which is very controversial. And like I said, it's any given Sunday. Listen, the first half, the Giants won the game easily. Looked like they were rolling. And second half, Tampa came back there a little bit, and they may have won the game, but In my opinion, in my eyes, they showed that they're a little bit vulnerable.
Crack, there's an old saying, all good things come to an end. And I'm wondering for Pats fans, is that what we're seeing? Is the Patriots dynasty finished?
Sure. I mean, the same thing you could say about almost any team, including those Giants we were just talking about when they were a powerhouse. It just seems like everything goes full circle. And I think the Patriots are that dynasty's over. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of happy. I'm not a big Belichick fan. I'm not a big Patriot fan. They've had a lot of controversy in their camps too over the seasons too. So I actually like that Brady went on and did really well and is doing really well. And I would like to see Belichick come home at night talking to his family or talking to his close friend and saying, "Wow, did we screw up?"
Fantastic. Crack, another current event that went on that I think, I don't know if we could do this as a segment every week and add this into our thing, but there was definitely the social media post of the year happened this week. I don't know if you saw it, but Avery Williamson got traded from the Jets and he posted, I pulled this pickup. I'm going to hold it up to the camera. Did you see this? He literally left the stadium in uniform with a suitcase and hailed a cab in New York. I mean, that is just classic.
Unbelievable. So he went from the worst team in football to maybe the best team in football. That's amazing, isn't it? When you can do that, he must have been happy as TV that happened to him.
Right. It's like jackpot. And then Crack, let's talk about playoffs this year. 16 team playoff scenario. Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's, I think it's for next season, but.
Oh, is that next season? Okay.
However, it's amazing, right? Why not just have everyone go to the playoffs?
It's a money grab, right? That's all that is.
It's the money. Keep that money machine going, baby. Yep. Amazing. But so we'll see what happens. But I think we have enough fun. Listen, I actually enjoy watching. Most guys know, most of the people know, I really don't watch a lot of games, but I enjoy watching the NFL this season. It's rare. It's a strange phenomenon. I love watching the playoffs. It's like baseball. I love watching baseball playoffs, World Series. I love watching playoffs. So the more the merrier.
And are you going to be paying attention to some college football coming up here soon?
Sure. We got a lot of new stuff happening here. And we almost have a full schedule. There's a couple teams that opted out. We know that. But we got some big schools back and looking forward to, listen, the more schools that are on the Don Best rotation and on the rotation schedule, the better it is for someone like me. I need a lot of games on there. I need bookmakers to be a little bit confused.
Crack, I'm always looking for an edge on game day. So when I gamble now, I do it like the pros. I go to WSN.com and I cash in on all the amazing bonuses and everything else that I need over there. WSN.com is the place to be.
You called it, John. Really, the bonuses they have running over there. Wow. It could be the difference between a great week or a brutal week. Let's be honest. They also have the best odds out there too. I mean, if you're not getting the money in through WSN, you're not getting full value on your bets. I can relate it to that, and that's what it's all about. It's about value to me. So you go to the site, find the books you want to play at, and get in on the action. Also, the articles, fantastic ones. I was looking today again, especially on the new jurisdictions taking shape, the existing ones. They talk about FanDuel, Win, MGM, PointsBet, all the different markets that these guys are involved in and what's going on. So I like to be kept updated, and that's where I go, WSN.com.
I got to tell you, man, we've been doing the show now for a few weeks. I've noticed a little trend in my betting results. The parlay bets that I keep making that I'm addicted to, not so good as you've predicted. Let me tell you the bets that I am winning, though. The bets that I'm making when I follow you. The Crack Wins app has changed my life. I just keep screwing it up on the parlay side. But your bet's a winner.
Well, thanks, John. I appreciate it, man. No, we're doing good. Another winning weekend for the Crack Win guys. And I'll tell you, it's been really a great year. And NFL has been really the shining star. Proposition bets, totals. I mean, we're really, I'll tell you, I hate to brag on myself. I usually don't. I'm pretty humble. But listen, you get the best of the line. People are loving what they see. And we're having a great year again. Thanks again, John.
All right, Crack, it's that time again. We got to go on to our first guest today. And you brought a special one with us. Who we got today?
Hey, we have Nick Kostos here today. And, Nick, we're really thrilled to have you with us today. This guy's a really talented guy who's all over the sports betting landscape. He's currently the host of You Better You Bet, a fantastic sports gambling show on the radio.com network. He has like an unmistakable voice. I love chopping it up with him as a guest on his show all the time. Welcome, Nick. How you doing, buddy?
Guys, great to be on the show. Thank you very much for having me. And I'm happy that some people are fans of my voice because, I feel like the reviews are often mixed as far as that goes, but unmistakable, I'll give you.
No, that voice is gold, Crack. You're right on the money with that one.
Oh, he's great, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. So, Nick, the tables have kind of turned on us here. Normally, it's you in the host chair asking me questions. So it's fun to have this flipped. Well, I'm going to get right into something here. And it's a touchy subject, but I said, let's go with it. I saw last night on Twitter that you were following OddsShark, the live odds. It was just a roller coaster back and forth. It was actually fun to see the influx of odds going crazy. Really just another indicator really of how the odds and gambling was becoming more and more commonplace these days. So, I actually followed myself too. There was about 4 different sites that had live odds on, which I did not expect at this election. They had it last election. It was unbelievable watching these odds, how quickly they were flipping. Also, I had odds on 13 live states in front of me. Even when I went to bed, just to give you an example, I went to bed 1:30 my time, 4:30 East Coast time. And even when I went to bed, they had Trump was minus 240. By the way, these places were taking like $10,000 bets too. Trump was minus 240 in the full election. And every single state that was left, Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan, Trump was 2-1 favorite in every one of them. So woke up 5 hours later and couldn't believe what I seen. Minus 5-1 the other way. Biden minus 5-1. So did you kind of follow the OddsShark same thing, Nick? You had that kind of experience or just going crazy?
Oh yeah. It was something to behold. It was wild, man. And I think and Crack, I think you're 100% right. And John, I think you would agree as well that it just shows the proliferation of sports gambling and it not just permeating what we do, just talking sports, but just in general now is really becoming in vogue and it was kind of funny how it was almost like things were happening in real time, but a lot was happening in real time in different segments of time where, once Trump becomes a huge favorite last night, the conversation becomes, polling's no longer existent. Polling doesn't matter anymore. Nate Silver's taking a beating among others on Twitter. I don't mean to single him out, but he's the golden boy for that kind of thing. And he's getting killed. And it's, well, the betting markets are actually the new indicator now. But I think this is what people are kind of missing. And I know that we're going to talk about this, and I appreciate the plug for You Better You Bet, Craig. Thank you very much. We'll talk about that on today, Wednesday's edition of You Better You Bet, 4 to 8 p.m. Eastern on the radio.com app weekdays, where the thing that was distressing to me, and I don't want to be dramatic and be it's distressing because I feel like it's an opportunity, and this is much more your purview, Crack, as a pro, whereas I'm a host who gambles, right? To kind of educate people, right? Because I think that people kind of are misunderstanding what these odds mean in regards to what's actually happening in terms of the election, right? So Trump was minus 700 at one point, right? And I'm kind of looking at that and thinking, okay, well, Biden's path to election is actually very much still in play. So then you have to ask yourself, why are the odds what they are now? And people have to remember, it's not the betting odds are this is what we think is going to happen. It's the books are trying to make money here. So they get massacred if Trump wins. So they don't want to take any more Donald Trump money. So they make him a huge favorite to try and draw money on the other side. And I tweeted at one point, and there's no political bias here. It's just trying to be objective, right? I tweeted, this is far from over. And I just get hit with a million different tweets oh, well, you must be a Biden supporter, or you're an idiot. Trump's minus 700. It's or you're kind of missing the boat here. Now, I think that we are kind of at the beginning of all of this right now. Whereas you've been doing this forever, right? I've been doing it. I'm a little younger than you, but I've been doing this for a long time. Also, you've been doing it at a more advanced level than me. So we kind of understand this a little bit more. And that's not to pat ourselves on the back, just have more experience. I think a lot of people are so new at this that they kind of don't understand the nuances. And that's why I think it's important for people like us, quite frankly, and that's not meant to be self-important, but this is what we do, right? To try and educate and explain hey, Trump minus 700 in this particular instance does not mean that like he's a heavy favorite to actually win. It's more like, okay, sports books are trying to cover their asses because they're going to get absolutely crushed if Trump does win this election.
Absolutely fantastic that you brought that up. I agree 100%. Even though I never talk politics or anything. This is a betting standpoint. And I'll tell you right now, if Trump would have won this, absolutely, people were betting on Trump and betting on it. You know why, too? I'll tell you why. Last election, I followed this live, and I seen that Hillary went from a 7-1 favorite quickly at the offshore sports books and the places online, like you said, the Odd Shark and stuff. And I seen it went a one-way street. It went down to -3-1, -2-1. Finally, Trump was favorite -2-1. It never went back. 2-1, 5-1, 10-1, up to 40-1 by the time they took the odds down. Trump was 40-1. So they seen that same thing happening, and they were petrified and were looking for money back on the other way, and they got it. So very good point there. So Nick, this is a good sub. This is something I wanted. You don't even know about this. I wanted to respond on your Twitter feed a couple of weeks ago, talking about stuff that you said, and I didn't. I saved it for the show. So my next couple of things here, we're going to go over that. So tell me a little bit about how, I don't know this answer. How did you get into this business? I mean, for me, growing up, my mother, Italian, East Coast, and this is how I grew up with her and her family from the Bronx and North Jersey. Gambling was a way of life. It evolved from pitching quarters and blackjack sports. I would assume growing up in a Greek household, it would be kind of similar. A lot of action, gambling around. I had a lot of friends that were, I actually had friends that were Greeks. I used to play poker in a diner at nighttime when the diner used to close at 4 a.m. So anyway, tell me about your youth, your progression from then to now. What's going on?
So it's interesting, right? Because gambling was not a part of my life until my senior year of college, gambling on sports. So I grew up, my late father and grandfather, God rest their souls, massive sports fans, New York sports fans. And I remember, and I'm going to get through the childhood stuff quickly, but just to kind of lay the foundation for the answer to come here, I got the NFL encyclopedia for Christmas when I was 5 years old. I read the entire thing. My first year watching sports, hardcore, my first Super Bowl was Super Bowl 24, Niners, Broncos, 55-10. The first year that I watched football obsessively every Sunday, I'm 37, was 1990. Giants win the Super Bowl in 1990. And the Giants have always been my favorite team. So that was awesome. So I am, and I've always been a massive, massive sports fan. And that has kind of always been my thing. I was always the sports guy. I know the sports trivia. I've been following all the sports, not just football, but I've been watching the NBA, the NHL, college basketball, all these sports for 30 years now, on a religious basis, which I think kind of gives me a leg up because my information is good because I've been watching this stuff for so long. And I kind of have this running dialogue to go off of that's literally been 3 decades. So, my senior year of college, all my buddies for the most part are big sports fans also, right? Because what do? We all get together, we shoot can I curse on this?
Sure.
We shoot the shit about sports, right? We talk sports, we get around, we drink some beers, watch sports. And one of my buddies had an account, right? He said, we should start gambling on sports. So whatever. So it's great. I know more about sports than anybody. This should be easy, right? It's a moron schmuck way of thinking, right? And I feel I lost my first 10 bets before I actually won one. And I remember the one that I always bring up, I bet Oklahoma State in basketball. This was probably fall 2004, my senior year of college. And they were at Oklahoma. Kevin Bookout was the center for the big 7-foot white guy was the center for Oklahoma. And Oklahoma State was ranked 21st and Oklahoma was unranked. And Oklahoma State was a 1-point favorite. And I remember saying to my friends, there's something wrong here. Oklahoma State's ranked. They're going to kill them. And of course, Oklahoma wins the game by 15 points and sucker bet, right? And that's the beginning of it for me. And that's one that I always remember. And I went to Fordham, worked at the Fordham radio station, FUV, for 4 years, covered all the teams locally as a college student, won a New York State Broadcasting Award. We beat all the major stations in New York for the NFL draft show I hosted when Eli Manning got drafted by the Chargers and then the Giants traded for him. Interned at FAN my junior year in New York, interned at Sirius XM NFL radio my senior year, got hired by Sirius coming out of college, and went off air for a while, and I produced for a long time, and I got hired by Bleacher Report. I'm leaving stuff out because it's too long an answer already.
Sure.
But I pitched Bleacher Report because I loved gambling on sports. I was guys, let me write. And this is not to slam Bleacher Report. I think it's kind of the evolution of all of this, where I kind of had to talk them in 2012. Let me do an NFL picks column on Sundays, or Fridays, whatever, for the weekend. And they agreed to let me do it. And I think my profile kind of started to grow from there. I got hired by CBSSports.com in 2015 to be like their gambling guy, moved down to Florida, worked there for 3 years, helped start what's become Sportsline on CBS Sports HQ, all their gambling operation. And then got hired by Entercom to host You Better You Bet. Where I worked for Oddshark for a little bit, doing some shows for them. So it really was, I feel like I was, when it's all said and done, I feel like I will be one of like the first ones that actually like was pushing this a little bit, like way back in like 2012 and 2013.
Without a doubt. It sounds like, I didn't know this. That's you were actually at the forefront back then when it was like voodoo to talk about sports betting. That's 8 years ago. That's great. So your dad and your grandfather, they weren't gambling. They weren't big gamblers or anything.
I feel like my grandfather was, based on things I've heard after the fact, but like very much kept it from me. My dad was very much like always on the straight and narrow. So like,
wow.
like he knew like I was like, he knew that I gambled. He was just, it's not like he looked down on me for it. He was just never into it. I feel like my God rest his soul, my grandfather, sure. Gus was maybe into that kind of stuff, but like, I never knew about that stuff as a kid. Like that was always kept for me.
Wow. And that segues into it with our fathers, because I know we have that in common. We shared the sports with our dads. My dad was a huge Yankee fan. This is the thing I was going to say about your Twitter. I was going to respond to this. I'm going to save that for when I have him on. So again, my dad was a huge Yankee fan, and some of our best times were spent those summers watching the games. And even when I moved to Vegas, I would call him up. We'd talk after the games, or we talk almost every single day about the Yankees. I mean, you had similar experiences with your dad, I'm sure. And I know with them gone, those memories mean even more to me. I get a little bit really caught up of baseball season, Yankees. When I watch baseball, and if I see a Yankee game, I think of my dad immediately, because my dad lived and died the Yankees. He was the coach. He was in the locker room. He was the guy that was there. And every day, and I'm saying that, he was there in his chair, acting like he was the coach. Yeah. And he would call me every day complaining about A-Rod. I mean, going crazy. He's not a team player. I mean, just crazy stuff. But I know you had the same kind of experiences with your pop. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. Like I remember my dad wasn't there with me, but I remember I was at the Aaron Boone Game 7, 2003 ALCS when the Yankees beat the Red Sox, which is like the greatest sport. I just remember the ball coming off the bat, first pitch, bottom of the 11th, and thinking he hit the ball to left and I'm in the right field bleachers. The ball comes off his bat. And I remember thinking like, it's over. Like we won. And I have goosebumps right now thinking about it. And I like craned my neck to see if it would land fair. And I never saw that it landed fair. Everyone just started jumping up and down. And I remember calling my dad and just holding the phone up in the air so he could hear it. I remember in 1990, January 20th, 1991, not that we are keeping track or anything, but that's NFC Championship game, Giants in San Francisco to stop the three-peat. And when Matt Barr kicks the field goal to win the game 15-13, I remember like running, jumping into my dad's arms. And I'll never get the shirt he was wearing, because I have the shirt still. It's a black t-shirt with a white 11 for Phil Simms and a blue 56 for Lawrence Taylor next to it. And then the next week watching with my godfather, who's still alive, and then my grandfather and my dad, I remember like going to the bathroom so nervous at 7 years old before the Norwood field goal. I felt like I was going to throw up. And he misses, and like the three, we all celebrate together. There are countless memories like this. I'll give you a funny one. In 1999, the Giants didn't make the playoffs, but they were in the playoff hunt. They go to Buffalo like in early December. And Doug Flutie's the quarterback of the Bills. This is Joe Montgomery. They picked, running back out of Ohio State, had like 30 carries for like 50 yards in the game. That's how I remember it. And Carrie Blanchard kicks the game-winning field goal to win the game 19-17, like to keep the Giants in the playoff hunt. And I was actually like in tears at points in the fourth quarter, thinking that they were going to lose. And I'll never forget, my grandfather looked at me and was like, you got to relax. This isn't that important. So like there are many, many great memories. Yeah. With my dad and my grandfather watching sports. Absolutely.
That's great.
Knicks games too. A lot of Knicks games in the 90s. Yeah.
Your grandfather was cool. I could see right away. Your grandfather was almost like like telling you like the Bronx tail line, calm down. And it doesn't make
That's right. There's no doubt. Absolutely.
So one thing I like about you too is that unlike a lot of people in our universe, you are very straightforward. When you have a bad week or a bad stretch, you don't run from it. You own it. And basically, just like my good friend here, Johnny O, that's on the show with us here. What you guys own it. I love that. It's so blunt. We just talk about it. What sort of things do you do to try to maybe even sharpen up week to week? What happens after a bad weekend? What do you do?
Well, I think you kind of have to like critically assess, kind of like, and for me, it's almost like with the National Football League, it's almost like, okay, how was my read wrong on a particular team? And then how do I assess them moving forward, right? So I'll give you a brief, I'll try to make this brief. So I bet the Rams on Sunday, like laying 3.5 against the Dolphins. So, I think there are some people that will be like, well, it's a really fluky result. The Rams ran 92 plays in the game. Goff had 61 passes. They only scored 17 points. Well, like I watched, and like Sean McVay, I thought coached a terrible game where like they're gashing them on the ground. Why do you keep dropping back with Goff? Goff obviously had a terrible game as well. So it's kind of like assessing like, okay, I feel like I'm not going to run away from the fact that I'm not going to make an excuse for the bet. Be like, oh, well, I got unlucky. Like, I actually think I made a bad bet in that game. So it's kind of like reassessing. Okay, so now what do I think about the Rams moving forward? Okay, maybe McVay loses a little bit of the assumption of rational coaching for me moving forward in games where I feel like they should do X probably meaning run the ball, but he can't help himself because he gets too cute with the passing game. So that's something I have to keep in mind. And also, as opposed to being like, okay, well, I just got unlucky here. It's like, well, I probably underrated this Dolphins defense, which is awesome, right? Which is actually really good, which leads into Sunday's game coming up on in Arizona against the Cardinals. So I think it's like, I think a lot of people, and it's not to call out names because I've done this in the past too. And like, I feel like I'm more mature now than I was. And like, honestly, Crack, like, and I mean this sincerely, like doing the show with people like you and listening to you talk about stuff with Ken Barkley, my co-host, with some of the guests that we have on, has helped me become I'm a much better gambler, a better, if you will. You bet than I used to be. So instead of looking to make the excuse, like, oh, well, I made this bet, but this, and this happened. It's like the critical analysis. Like, what did I do wrong? And how can I apply that knowledge moving forward to not make the mistake again? I think that's really been like the biggest thing for me.
Excellent. That's really good. I appreciate that too. Well, that makes me feel good to come on there and you can learn a little stuff, maybe even a little nugget pick up from me here and there. John, do you have anything for my buddy Nick?
I do actually. I need some advice from both of you. Where can I go all in on making the following bet? Okay, here's the bet I want to make. I want to go all in that Nick Kostos is going to be a superstar. Where do I make this bet?
Well, my Venmo's at the Kostos.
Great. Hey, Nick.
I appreciate that, man. John, thank you very much.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for spending some time with us. Listen, you guys at home, you can follow Nick on Twitter at the Kostos. Am I saying it right? TheKostos?
You got it. The Kostos. Right. Yeah. It's like all my soccer trophies. Major. I'm not an athlete, but like I had soccer trophies growing up, and all were spelled Kostos, like Bob Costas. That right. Yeah, son of a gun. But yeah, Kostos.
You could catch Nick on You Better You Bet podcast. The daily episodes are great. I mean, it's really a fun show from the guys who love to gamble. Like I said earlier, they don't take themselves too seriously. I love being a guest and appreciate your time, Nick. We'll see you very soon.
Great. And Crack, and we love having you on the show. And John and Crack, thank you guys very much for having me. And if you'll allow me, I'd like to do my catchphrase as we sign off here. Please. I sign off at least. Wishing you guys and all the great listeners of your show minimal sweats, winning bets, and the absolute very best of luck.
All right, Crack, it's time to bring on our second guest on the show today, and this one is fantastic. He's a legend in the world of U.S. track and field. He's the former world record holder in the 100-meter. He's a two-time Olympic gold medalist. He even danced his butt off on Dancing with the Stars. Maurice Greene is with us today.
How are you?
What's up, Mo?
What up?
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has.
How you been doing? Good?
I'm good. Everybody's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let me tell you who's not so good is our Cowboys, Mo Greene. What's going on with our Dallas Cowboys? Can you shed some light on this?
I have no clue what the defense is horrendous and the offense, everybody's getting hurt and the front line is hurt. Like it's all bad for Cowboy Nation.
Is this season, is it time to just throw in the towel? We have no shot at playoffs or anything, right?
Well, they play in the East. So, I mean, that's the whole thing that they're in is anybody could do anything. So, yeah, you don't quit until it's all said and done. So I guess you keep on going until you can't go no more.
What teams this year do you have your eye on to take it all? Do you think the Chiefs can repeat? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, with
Kansas City. So how are you not are you a Chiefs fan too? Do you adopt both or no?
Yeah, of course I do. I have to go with my hometown because I'm from Kansas City. So, but just with that pickup of Le'Veon Bell, that just gives them more weapons. The only thing that I see wrong with the Chiefs is their defense. Their defense is not as strong. But on the other hand, can you score with them? That's tough. They could score 14 points in less than 2 minutes. So
yeah,
that's hard to deal with.
And who do you think they end up if they do make it to the Super Bowl? Who do you see them playing this year?
Oh man, I don't know. You gotta watch out for Seattle. And then Green Bay is up and down, so I don't know. But I think Seattle and the 49ers, even though the 49ers got a lot of injuries, once their people start coming back being healthy, they're going to be hard to deal with too.
Now, I got to blame you for something, Mo. Last year, I got a little bone to pick with you, okay? Last year, you were on fire for like 3 weeks. You hit like a bunch of parlays, and I was like, well, man, if Mo Greene can do it, I can do it. And I can't do it. What's your secret?
Don't bet with your heart is one. But you just got to look at, I just look at how teams are playing and think about the matchups and stuff like that. That's what I really do. It's all luck.
Let me turn it over to the sports betting expert, Crack. What do you think of Mo's?
I like what Mo just said. That's something that a lot of people don't say, John. They don't. But people love betting with their heart. This man just said, "Don't bet with your heart." That's exactly right. It's exactly how you make money. Well, first of all, Mo, thank you. It's a real thrill to have you on with us. I always wanted to do you ever get to say this to someone? I'm Mo Greene. Do you know who I am? I'm Mo Greene. I made my bones when you were going out with cheerleaders. I mean, that's the Godfather. I love it. I mean, what a great line, though. But like I said, it's a thrill to have you on. I've always loved the Summer Olympics, and I can remember the glory days of track and field with you and Carl Lewis and Michael Johnson. One thing I always noticed, though, the confidence and let's call it swag that you guys all have, you carry when you get on the track. It's like an NFL wide receiver, but only 100 times more. Tell me, but I like it though. And everyone's doing it. So tell me about that. Is that something that you could just be successful in your sport, and maybe you just can't be really successful without doing that? Do you need that to pump yourself up, or the intimidation factor, or with the competitors, or what is that? I love it. By the way,
I think it's a little bit of all of the above. You gotta have the confidence to go out there and believe that you can conquer the world, but then you just have to have that persona. You never want to show your opponents any fear or anything else. So it's all little mind games going on, and you just gotta go out there and stretch your stuff and let everybody know that you are the king.
Awesome, good for you, my man.
Hey, speaking of the Olympics, Mo. I'm wondering, are there any guys in the NFL? I mean, there's a lot of fast guys in the NFL. Do you think any of them would ever have a chance at Olympic gold? Is there that kind of speed in the NFL?
It's not that kind of speed in the NFL. they won't do that. It's some fast guys in there, but you gotta realize though, like track athletes, they only do one thing, and they're training for that specific thing. And football athletes are training specifically for football. Now, if some of them took away football and focus totally on track and field, maybe then, but there's no way that they're going to be able to step off the football field and come onto the track.
And let me ask you this. How about T.O.? It's been a long time since Terrell Owens been on a football field. I still see him posting videos and stuff. Could he still play out there?
T.O. is one thing. He is a tremendous competitor. And when he goes out there, he might not be as fast, but his route running can be good, and that can still give him an open. But for him to be like the number one go-to receiver, I don't think he'll be that, but he could be a good 3 or 4 though.
And what are you up to these days, Mo Greene? You're coaching the kids now?
Yeah, I coach football at a high school in Gilbert, Arizona, and I coach track and just work with a bunch of other athletes on getting speed and making them faster.
So could you even make me faster, or is it over for me? Am I too old now? It's over?
No, I can make you faster, but we're going to start at a point and you'll get a little bit faster from what you started at.
So you could take me from turtle to snail?
Yeah. Yeah.
Crack, you got anything else for Mo Greene before we let him get out of here?
You were great. This was a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on and spending some time with us. taking time out of your day. We really appreciate it, Mo.
Oh, you have to get me in the studio sometime. Let's do that.
Come on. We need you're due for a Vegas trip.
Yeah.
Billy, Mo Greene is no stranger to the blackjack table, crap table, or even war. He will play war. What are your thoughts on that, Bill?
No, war is not something I stay around. However, blackjack, yeah, we can go to blackjack and we could do a little card counting together. I'll explain that in person.
All right, yeah. All right. Oh, hey, let's hook up.
Mo Greene, thanks for stopping by Wise Kracks today.
All right, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Crack, before we get into this week's bets, let's just recap my journey from last week a little bit. I ended up going 2-1 with my picks last week, winning with the Chiefs and the Steelers. And then I lost the Chargers under after their defense forgot that there was 4 quarters in a football game. But I'm getting a little better. I didn't hit my parlays, shocker, but I still fared okay. We've got a big week ahead. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as I look at these matchups, this looks like a dangerous week to me. Is it not?
Listen, every week's a dangerous week in the NFL, especially as we get deeper in the season.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So
but you're trending the right way, John. 2-1 last week. Hey,
I'm learning.
Trending the right way. I like it, buddy.
I attribute it to the Crack Wins app, 100%.
Right, man.
Okay, so let me get into. I picked out 3 games as I like to do. So let me run these by you here and tell me what you think. We've got the Panthers at the Chiefs. I know you're going to cringe at this one because the line is just ridiculous. I'm going Chiefs money line, but before you kick me off the show, just hear me out, okay? I just can't handle the stress of the spread, all right? I'd rather take the minus 500 or whatever it is and cruise to victory and make 20% of my money is my thought, because 20% in the stock market for a day, you'd be doing cartwheels, right?
Yeah, but the difference in the stock market is this is more vulnerable. I mean, just look at if you had the other night, like we talked about, if you had Tampa laying 13, no, you want the money line? Okay. How'd you feel laying all those dollars, 3/4 of the game? So it's hard to do. Big favorite money line bets. Listen, I'll tell you, it's a real favorite of squares around the country. They love parlaying these money lines together. But let me tell you, this line opened 12.5. It was hit a little bit down to like 10.5. Probably the news about Bridgewater will play. The Panthers also, the running back, Christian McCaffrey, back from his ankle injury. Well, listen, Dr. Chow last week, one of our favorite interviews, told us you don't know how effective he'll be right away. So you have to put that into the equation too. So I think there might be some late action here on the Chiefs that may come in. You're going to have to lay a ton of money on the Chiefs money line, but good luck to you.
Okay. All right. How about this one? We've got Raiders and the Chargers. I had to pick this game because it's too exciting. I mean, the Raiders, they're now the hometown team here in Vegas. So I've kind of adopted them, and I'm not saying I've divorced my Cowboys, but let's just be serious. It's a little more fun cheering for the Raiders right now at this point. I think they're for real. Carr, he's playing great. He runs, he throws, he's doing all the things. And I'm going money line on this one as well. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, listen, it's actually nice to see the Raiders turning a corner here. This is our hometown team, and they're 4-3 now, fighting for a playoff spot in their very first season. I mean, that's pretty good. Very first season in Vegas. And Vegas can use the good news too. So we really need them to be in the playoffs. So anyway, so the Chargers opened up 3 in this game. It got bet down to 1 right away. So the Chargers are now sitting around 2, something like that. And this is, I'm sorry. They're now sitting around 1.5 to 2, because I see a little bit of action coming the other way now. So let's see what happens here. They're 2-5. Raiders are, they can easily be 5-2. So
yeah,
they've blown. As a matter of fact, they've blown 4 leads this season when they're up by 3 scores. So we'll see what happens.
I think Carr drives the Raiders to victory.
I'm rooting for you.
You see what I did there? Carr drives.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Keep the day job. All right. This is the day job. Wait a minute. All right. Last but not least, this is going to be a street cred pick again. Okay. I think I got a little street cred last week, hopefully with Cracks Nation. So what do you think about this one? Saints and the Buccaneers. Okay. I have a motto, Crack. I don't know if you've heard me ever say this motto. Don't bet against Tom Brady. Just don't do it. But If it involves Drew Brees, you can. Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's what I'm predicting this week. Drew Brees and company pulls off the upset. Then they are going to beat Brady and the Buccaneers. Money line. I'm going all in.
Wow. That's the all-in part, John, I don't like. But okay, money line. It's okay because I'll tell you, I have no problem. I think you get some extra value. Sometimes betting against Tampa. Now, I don't know so much with a public team like the Saints and Drew Brees, but listen, Tampa's Americans' darling right now. So it hasn't seen much line movement either. It's opened up at 5 and it's still 5. So under I hit a little bit. I feel like Tampa may be a public play every single week still. So, I think the squares are still playing it. So if anything, I lean to your side. Definitely root for you.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Now I'm taking them all straight up, and I'm also going to parlay them just because I just want the thrill of hitting a parlay. I'm going to hit one, and I'm going to brag about it on this show, Bill.
Parlay. Here you like a team. You're all pumped up. Now you're going to parlay with another team and have to win 2 games. Oh boy.
I'm going 3. Let me ask you this: should I not do Chiefs money line and do the spread?
I don't really like betting money lines in general, laying the favorite. Years ago though, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Years ago, you could take home teams that were favored by double digits and just basic strategy bet the money lines years ago, and it was a winning formula. You didn't have to handicap. It's called market capping. You didn't have to do that. So we'll see what happens, man. You want to parlay it? I'm rooting for you, buddy.
All right. Fair enough. What's the Twitter world? I know you put up a tweet saying you wanted some questions and you got bombarded with questions. We're short on time. You got one good question you can get to?
I actually have 2. I have 2 questions that
okay.
I had a ton of, I had to take it down. I had too many questions. So I didn't get to everyone yet, but I will get to them. Now we have a ton for the rest of the season. So Jeff Schwartz asked, Bill, how much stock do you put into last-minute line moves? Last week, I loved Seattle -2.5. I got it early in the week. It moved to -3. Then near kickoff, it got down to 1. And it was actually pick 'em actually too. And he wanted to buy more. Well, I'll tell you what, Jeff, I hate going against the market. I hate when a team like San Fran, the game moved 4 points in a matter of a couple days. I respect last-minute money moves when it's on underdogs more than on favorites, especially public teams. This wasn't that situation. Lots of wise guys. I know 3 different gambling syndicates that were on San Fran there, +3.5, +3, and they didn't get the money. It happens. I mean, this happens. Seattle won, and congratulations to you there, Jeff. So that's one question. And I kind of have a fun question because in case anyone doesn't know, I do like to indulge. I don't drink, smoke, or do drugs. However, I like to eat. So someone asked here, I'm going to give you his name, Levi Alanik. I hope I didn't butcher your name, buddy. Best sandwich place to eat in Las Vegas? Well, I'll tell you, there's a couple of them. I go to Cugino's on Maryland Parkway between Trop and Flamingo. Italian, old school from Staten Island. Very good sandwiches. Great pizza. They make a grandma's pie, which is an old school pie with the sauce on top. So it's like a Sicilian sauce on top, very little cheese. I love that there. I love their Sicilian's great also. Now you want to go towards, let's go to deli's kind of sandwich, like Jewish deli kind of sandwiches. We kind of really don't have them like back where I'm from, or even both coasts, West Coast and East Coast, LA, New York, great sandwiches, both places. Vegas here, I go to Bagel Mania for a sandwich. They got a new location they're opening here next month. I can't wait. It's right across from one of my other favorite restaurants, Piero's on Convention Center. John, I've been to Piero's with you.
Yeah.
So that's opening up, and I know that they have a location here in town. They make a really good soup. I go there. I went to a deli downtown at the Circa, which had I'm tough on pastrami. They had very good pastrami. I met the owners down there. I'm sorry, the name slips me right now, but it's a brand new deli at Circa. So
you're a pastrami guy, not a corned beef guy?
No, I'm a pastrami guy. Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. I order Katz's pastrami and they deliver it to me. You put it in hot water and you boil it. It comes out almost like the deli in New York there on Houston.
Yeah, I'm a deli guy. I've been to Bagel Mania. I didn't realize they were opening a new spot.
Oh, a giant spot. They're going to be. Oh, it's giant. It's going to be the biggest deli in Vegas.
Really? Is it in a casino or just freestanding?
No, it's right on Convention Center. And let me tell you why it's going to be so big. It's going to be Las Vegas tourists coming in, which they really don't get too many tourists now, and all the locals. Giant space. Steve Siegel, billionaire in this town. He must own 1,000 apartment complexes all over the United States. Young guy too. It's amazing. He's our age. And so Siegel owns that. And I met him a couple times. And
are we going? Are we going opening day or opening?
Maybe not opening day, but we'll go
work the kinks out.
Yeah. No, we're definitely going to go there though. I listen. I love going out to eat in the mornings. I go to breakfast usually every morning, and I go to dinner at least 4 or 5 nights a week.
I'm in. We need to eat more together. Crack. What's going on here? Come on. I want some meals. Can a guy get some meals?
Yeah, no problem. You got it.
Crack, I got bad news. It's that time again.
It's that time again. The party's over.
It's over. Great show today, though. This was a really great show. It went by too quick, even though we got a lot jam-packed in there. I don't know if you noticed, I was repping I know it's been a week. I'm still repping my Dodgers because I figure after 32 years, I can milk this for at least a month.
Cool. Okay? Cool. All right. That's good. All
right.
I seen a story up on the Dodgers just today on WSN.com. So, they're still talking about it. Cool.
Speaking of WSN.com, everybody, please listen. Go to the YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe. Leave a little comment. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like about the show. We want your feedback. And please spread the word for us. Thanks for watching Wise Kracks, and we'll see you next time.